see. All right, so this is the Brown Duke Gun Show. My name is JP. I'm here today with Brandon, and we are the official podcast for Century Defense Indoor Range in Youngsville, Louisiana. If you're in Youngsville area, please come shoot with us. And like I said before, even if you're not, make a tour, make a stop, come shoot with us. It's a lot of fun. You know, there's a lot of things to rent, a lot of things to buy. You know, whatever you like. The range staff is awesome. So yeah, come and enjoy.
You saw our map?
I did.
Yeah, that's
I did.
pretty cool.
I actually put my pin up now.
Oh, you did?
So I put Kentucky. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So Kentucky is represented. Come put your pin on the map from wherever you're from, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah, we have a whole world map. So
yeah,
it's for our plan of world domination.
There you go. Friends of 2A.
That's right.
All over the world. There you go.
Yeah.
So today I am using the opportunity that Brandon is here selfishly because I want to know more about some AR pistols, AR style pistols that are in the shop. And specifically the two I'm looking at are the Sig MPX, which I guess is an 8-inch?
It's a 4-inch
barrel. 4-inch barrel. Okay.
Yep. With a pistol brace.
Yeah, and then the CZ Scorpion, which is the other one that was up there. I saw they're about the same size, and those are the two I was looking at. But really, just open up the discussion in general. We can first start talking about 9mm AR style pistols. And then we can open it up to rifle caliber AR style pistols if we want to. So the good thing for those who haven't been keeping track, the ATF rule about pistol braces has been either diluted or completely done away with by the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah, they had a federal judge that ruled it unconstitutional. So now there's pistol braces are back legal. It's been going back and forth for 10 years or so at least.
Yeah.
So now it's back legal for the time being, and we'll see what happens after that. So
yeah. So I think the most recent news before that was that the ATF had asked you to register all of your AR pistols, right? Or pistol with braces or something like that.
Yeah. If you had a pistol brace, it was deemed a SBR, and if you wanted to keep the pistol brace, they were doing a tax-free stamp. So you just had to register it. They wouldn't charge you the $200 tax because you're kind of grandfathered in. Which caused a bunch of issues for people, and everybody had their different views about it. But some people did it, some people didn't, and then now they kind of took it away. So if you did do it, I guess it's doesn't matter. You didn't have to pay anything, and now you keep
have one registered firearm.
You have your registered firearm. But most people that kind of did it, they already have registered items, right? They have silencers. The people that were complaining about it the most was people that didn't have any NFA items. Well, I don't want to be on a list. And it's man, you just don't have enough guns yet, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm
way top on the list.
I'm on the list for something else. Yeah.
If I'm not number one, I'm mad. Right? We got machine guns and everything else.
So. Well, yeah. I mean, you've got the shop, we've got the ammo business together, so we're both we're both completely up to the hilt with the ATF anyway.
That's right.
So
do what you need to do, or do what you have to do, and go from there.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, so that was history. Now the good part is that the federal judge came back and said that, that was unconstitutional. So we don't have to register those pistols anymore. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research, right? It's out there. You can find it. It's very easy to find. A lot of experts have already put out opinions about it in videos and stuff. So,
and that's the thing. It's a lot of this stuff, we're very hesitant to make statements and things about it because it's not a law, right? ATF doesn't have to make laws. They make rulings, which is not technically a law. So they can just come up with whatever they want to and be hey, this is going to be the ruling. So a lot of times they're saying, oh, well, you heard that this judge said it's unconstitutional. It's it doesn't matter if he said it. Just anybody can say anything. It doesn't mean that it takes it away, right?
Correct.
So we're very hesitant about that, and never want to say, okay, now they're 100% legal or whatever it might be. But whenever big manufacturers start shipping them back out, then it's okay, now I believe it, right?
For sure.
So you get companies like Sig, like Daniel Defense, that are shipping out pistols with pistol braces on them.
Right.
Then you're okay, because they have attorneys that really look into this. They're multi-million-dollar corporations that if they do get fined by ATF or get caught up in something like this, that's their whole business, right? So they have to follow ATF rules.
Right.
So if they're shipping them out, it's it's good.
Yeah, it's legit. It's legit. So, and the whole reason for this discussion is because I saw some at the range during one of our shooting matches last week, and it just got me thinking that now that they're back and they're legal again, or there aren't so many red flags around getting procuring these firearms, that maybe it's time to start considering them again, right? And so looking at pistol calibers first, the ones that, like I said, that I saw at the range were the MPX, the short MPX, and the CZ Scorpion. I have a long MPX, and it's great. I've had no issues with it. Frankly, I don't shoot it that much. And the reason why I'm looking to go with the smaller form factor is just mainly storage and portability, right? It does fold up to a very small form factor. My plan is, at least as I'm thinking, is maybe to get a small silencer for it, maybe a pistol silencer since it's a pistol caliber, and just put it on that particular gun, for that application, right? So it's small, it's portable. It's not something that you have to bring a huge rifle case to the range or whatever it is you want to do, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So what are your thoughts? Maybe start with the Sig first. What do you think?
So I think the Sig's probably like the best PCC gun out there right now. The MP5 was like the king for the longest time, right? Like submachine gun, just the way that it shot, and it still is like one of the smoothest shooting guns. The only thing that comes close to it is the Sig MPX because it's piston driven. So typically 9mm PCC guns or submachine guns are direct blowback, which means that there's a very heavy bolt that is operating under a very heavy spring that's pushing it forward. And that's the only thing that's holding the round in the chamber.
Right.
So as it explodes, the round explodes, that explosion causes the bolt to start moving backwards and unlocks the bolt, right? Whereas on the MP5, you have roller lock system to where the bolt carrier starts moving back, then the bolt unlocks, right? So it's like a little delay, and that makes the bolt a lot lighter. So now you don't have as much reciprocating mass as moving back and forth. Right. So now it has less recoil, right? The issue with the MP5 is the controls were horrible. Like your mag button was very hard to get to. Your safety selector was kind of difficult. It didn't lock open on the last round. The charging handle was in the front. You had to like lock it open, then take the mag out, reload it, then slap it back down.
Right.
It's just difficult. Whereas on the MPX, it's a piston-driven system, which is kind of the same thing. It doesn't have the rollers. It's just that it operates the bolt carrier first, then the bolt unlocks. Very similar to like a AR-15 piston. It's just a very sharp piston.
Sure.
It does require gas in order to operate it, so you have to like use 124, 115. It rathers that. It does operate on the 147s, but if you do start lightening those loads too much on 147 grain, then it won't operate very smoothly.
Right.
So it does operate with gas, and it does have a lot less recoil than like a direct blowback. So all the controls are the same as AR-15s, which is like the best controls that you can get.
Yeah, you're already used to it.
Yeah, and it's so easy, right? Like your safety's right there where your thumb's at. You can reach your mag button. You can reach the bolt release. All that stuff's very simple. Yeah. They have great magazines, so there's a true double stack mag. It's not like some of the other ones that are using Glock mags, which Glock mags are great. Like they're very cheap, so you can get them for very inexpensive, but it's not a true double stack mag, right? Right. Like it all funnels back into one round. Whereas on the Sig MPXs, you have a true double stack mag, which makes it a lot nicer. Yeah. Their mags are not that expensive anymore. They kind of came out with a new type this year that holds like I think 35 rounds, and they're like $40 or so. So not bad at all.
Will my old mags fit in there?
They will. Yep. Okay. Yeah, the old mags will. The CZ Scorpion, they have a new system, and the old mags I think will work, but the new mags won't work in the old guns. Okay. It's something like that. Okay. Right? So that's kind of an issue. But
so then like let's shift gears to the CZ then. What do you think about the CZ?
So the CZ, for the price point, I think it's a great gun. We have a CZ Scorpion machine gun at the range. I've been having it for like 4 years, I think. And that thing's run like a top. Like no issues with it. We've cracked the receiver because I think that there was something with like the way the bolt was moving back. Someone like jammed it, and the top receiver cracked. It was a piece of plastic. Sent it back to CZ. They repaired it, came back. But I've never seen that on like stock gun. It was just a machine gun part.
Yeah.
If you have it like in full auto, whenever you go back to rack the bolt back, sometimes it gets stuck.
Okay.
I think something with a sears like pushing up on the bolt.
Okay.
But they're very reliable guns. They're very inexpensive. Like I think they're like $1,000. So
Yeah, not even. I think at the range, and so yeah, for clarity, the Sig that I'm looking at is what, 2,200
it's
or
like
something like that.
$2,200.
The CZ is 900.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a significant difference, right? Like you buy 2 CZs for that. I do think like the Sig MPX is the best gun. Yeah. It's by far the best shooting gun. But if you're like on a budget, and you're like, hey, I can't spend, double the price, then get the CZ Scorpion, put a brace on it, and go from there.
Well, yeah, no, I think, and just looking aesthetically at the differences, we don't have them here now, but the what you get for the Sig, it's much slimmer, it's sleeker, it's not as bulky.
Yeah, and it's aluminum.
Yeah.
Right. So like the upper and lower receivers are aluminum, the rail's aluminum, whereas on the CZ is all polymer.
Yeah.
So it's a very light gun with a very heavy bolt. So that's why it recalls a lot more than the SIGs do.
Sure. Okay.
Mags are pretty cheap for the Scorpions. Also, like I highly recommend the Magpul mags for them.
Okay.
So the CZ mags, they'll crack. The feed lips will crack if you drop them in, things like that.
Right.
They're not great. They ship with like 4 magazines or something, I think, on the law enforcement side because of that reason. So like toss those mags away, and Magpul mags are great. They hold 35 rounds. They're very inexpensive. Mm-hmm. The first time that you run them, they might have an issue. I think that's something with the Magpul, like the mold has like a little burr or something in there. But like once you run them 1 or 2 times, the little burr goes away. And I've been running a machine gun, and they work great. Like they keep up with. And that's a super high rate of speed. I think it's like 1,100 rounds per minute.
Oh, geez.
So if they keep up with that, then they're good to go.
That's amazing. Yep. Yeah. So the platform will hold up, right? Because it's the same platform.
Platform. Yep.
Same exact platform. It doesn't come. So the thing that the Sig does in the one that you have in the store, it has a brace already. Yep. The CZ Scorpion, you would have to get a brace for that, right?
Yep. And the Sig brace is not. It could be better, for sure. Like they do make SB Tactical makes one that's a lot better than that one.
Yeah.
So you can buy that one, but it does come with one.
Okay.
And the braces are like $250, I think, for either gun because they do fold. So there's not like a regular AR-15 one where they're like $150. I think they're $250 or $300.
Okay.
So they're pretty pricey, but they do fold and everything.
Sure, and they fold and they fold kind of out of the way in a sense. Where versus if you have what's the Law Tactical, it's even if you fold the Law Tactical when you have it on an AR, it's very bulky.
Yeah, because the buffer tube, right? The buffer
you have to
tube's
keep the
very
buffer tube
big. Whereas on the braces, you can get them very narrow and they kind of fold in. On the machine gun CZ, it has the actual stock that folds, and that stock's like really nice.
Sure.
I like it a lot. It folds very compact to the gun.
Yeah.
And on the SIGs, if you get the stock for it that folds, it's very compact too. Like the Minimalist Plus is the one I'd recommend.
Okay.
They have a Minimalist and the Minimalist Plus. The Minimalist is like a little bit too small, but the Minimalist Plus is perfect.
Got it. And do they both like gassy ammo?
They both can fire with gassy ammo. The CZ, like it doesn't really matter as much because it's direct blowback.
Right.
But the SIG definitely, I find, likes gassier ammo.
Okay.
It does cycle, like we load our own ammo, right? So like a while back, I loaded some 147s for us, and they worked great in the CZ. They made power factor, but it would not cycle on the MPX in an 8-inch barrel.
Got it.
So I had to go up on the powder a little bit. Now 124s would work like a top, but it just didn't like that load. Now I've recently loaded some more. We went up on the powder just a little bit, and it works great.
Got it. For those who don't know what we're talking about, this is different 9mm bullet weights. So the 115 grain bullet weight, the 124 grain bullet weight, the 147 grain bullet weight. Generally, the 115 grains will be more gassy in a sense because we put more powder behind them, and not just we as a ammo company. Most ammo companies will put more powder, more gunpowder behind the 115 projectile bullet. And that in turn creates more gas.
Yep.
Right.
So the bullet's moving faster, and the round would be a little bit snappier, I guess you'd say.
And we could get into that on another show, maybe why people do that. But suffice to say, I guess for the purposes of this conversation, the lighter the grain weight of your bullet in 9mm, the more gassy it's going to be. So what we're really saying here is that the MPXs tend to like lighter bullet weights with more powder, and it seems that the CZ Scorpions kind of don't care.
Yeah, they don't care as much.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are moving to lighter grain weight bullets and PCCs for less recoil, because since they have a little bit longer barrels, they're getting more velocity out of them anyway. And like physics, like the lighter the grain weight coming out the end of the gun, usually the less recoil it is. But you have to make sure it's making at least a certain velocity.
Right. So okay, so then that's one consideration. They both seem pretty decent platforms. I've held them in person, so it's kind of I have a little bit of an advantage over somebody who hasn't actually held them in person, right? The CZ is just a little bit more bulky. Like you say, the front, the controls for racking the bolt are in the front of the CZ, versus the Sig is just normal, like any sort of AR style rifle, where it's in the back. You pull back the bolt and stuff like that.
The best way to describe them would be like like in vehicles, I guess, like the CZ would be like an F-150 work truck, like base model, like roll up windows, and it can get the job done, but like no luxury, right?
Yeah.
The Sig would be like a Ford Raptor, right? Okay. Like all the bells and whistles, like rides a lot smoother and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, now those are the two that I was looking at in the store. Are there any other ones that I should or people should consider?
Yeah,
for a 9mm.
So you have like AR style nines. The CMMG Banshee's really good because it's a radial delay blowback. So it's not just a direct blowback. It has like a bolt and a bolt carrier, just like an AR-15, and the bolt carrier starts moving back. It does recoil more than the Sig does because it's just a little bit bigger.
Okay.
But they do recoil lighter than direct blowback.
Okay.
Then you have direct blowback ARs that you can build yourself, or you can buy them from, like Terran has one, the TR9, one that they like upgrade and everything. And I shot those. Those shoot really good. So Terran sent some for Blake's event last year.
Right.
And he sent the Pit Vipers, he sent the Combat Masters from Glock, and he sent the TR9s. And the one that I was most impressed with was the TR9.
Sure.
And I know most people are like, what? Like, the Pit Viper was there, right? But like, we shoot open guns all the time.
Yeah,
it's like,
we're 2011 snobs.
Yeah, so like it's like, yeah, this. I mean, it's a great gun, but it's like,
it's hard. It's hard to impress us with the 2011.
That's right. It's hard to impress us. So whenever I got the TR9, I was like, man, like, because I've shot other direct blowback ARs and they're violent, right?
Yeah.
Like that big bolt's moving back and forth, and it recoils quite heavily. But whenever I shot that gun, I was like, man, this is very nice. The controls were very nice. He had ambidextrous bolt lock, which is awesome.
Yeah.
The gun was balanced really well. Like they had a carbon fiber handguard on it, so all the weight was in the back of the gun. He had a really nice compensator on the end of it, so it didn't recoil very much. But it shot really good. They also have like some type of buffer system. That's whatever all the direct blowback guns are going to.
Sure.
They have some type of hydraulic buffer or something like a 2-part buffer in the buffer spring.
Interesting.
Yep.
So not just a straight spring anymore.
It's not just a straight spring. It's like a 2 system spring. So it has the big spring, and then the buffer itself actually has a spring in it too.
So almost like the Glock recoil.
Kind of something like that.
Yeah.
So like it starts taking up, and then towards the end of it, instead of just like making that big spring so heavy that it just like recoils more, it starts relaxing, and then the sharp spring is the actual strong one, right? So you don't have all that force just jumping back to the gun, where it doesn't throw the gun muzzle down. So
it's almost like you have if you did it in a pistol, you have a 7-pound recoil spring for most of it, and then you have a 15 at the end.
It's like a variable power recoil spring for 2011s, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So it unlocks at 5 pounds, and then whenever you get all the way to the back, it's 7 pounds, and then whenever it releases back, it goes back into 5 pounds.
Right. So, but you're saying some of these buffers have hydraulics in them too?
Yeah. So some of them have they put like O-rings on them to where it seals it off, like seals all the air. So what it does is like it creates pressure in there, and it'll be like a hydraulic system.
Interesting.
Yep. MPX has one of those now, and that's what they're using.
I wonder if that's how the JP silent capture spring works.
It's probably something like that. Yeah. So JP's like one of the main brands in PCC, 9mm PCC. That would be like a gold standard. And MBX would be the other gold standard in direct blowback. Those two are like the ones. And then Terran has his now too.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 9mm. Okay. So Okay, I'm still on the smaller ones.
Yeah.
So that for my application, and my application is really that they're lighter, they're more portable. I have 2 young kids that if I want to teach them how to shoot, then that's a very easy gun to pick up.
Yep.
Same for my wife. She, easy for her to shoot. And so really. When you get back to like the bigger, the longer barrel type AR pistols or PCCs, then I already have one, so I kind of don't need that side. But if you guys are looking for those, I think consider the ones we just talked about. Those sound really good.
Yeah. And usually, like the 9mm will recall more than a 5.56 in that gun. So if you're worried about recall,
right,
5.56 definitely recalls less, but the noise is there.
Recoils less. It is much louder.
Yep. So that's what's great about the MPX is they recall just like an AR-15, like in 5.56, but it's a whole lot less noisy.
Right.
So kids usually love those guns.
So here's a question: can you for a pistol caliber? Can you silence them with the pistol suppressor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it just doesn't need the piston. So the piston has like the spring part in the front of the silencer. You just need a fixed barrel silencer. So I have a Omega 36M on my 9mm PCC gun.
Okay.
And that one works great. I can use it like on the MP5 or anything like that because it's 36, diameter. But the Dead Air, I forgot which one it is. Wolfman.
Okay.
That one's very quiet because it's a large diameter can.
Okay.
That one's like set up mainly for a PCC. You can get a pistol caliber silencer, which is like a little bit narrower and stuff. You just put the fixed barrel spacer in it.
I'm just looking for something smaller, like because the rifle cans are longer.
They are,
right?
Yep.
So yeah,
you can get like a Silencer Co. makes a 9K Omega 9K, I think it's called.
Okay,
that was like the MP5 silencer. It was designed for the MP5. It's very short. I want to say it's right under. It's 5 inches or like right under 5 inches, like 4.9 or something.
Oh really? Okay.
So it's pretty small and it's very quiet.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And now's the time to buy silencers, folks, because the ATF wait time is super, super low.
It's crazy. It's like a week. Sometimes it's a day. Like
really?
Yeah. Like we've had some of them a day, 2 days. But the longest I think right now is like a month. And we can kind of touch on that. So I heard that they're kind of having some issues with, there's some bills going through Supreme Court about like how it's unjustified in getting silencers because it's taking so long, right? So I think they're kind of like on the ball and it's like, all right, we need to start actually doing a little bit more than what we're doing. So it's good to see that. It's good to see at least they're trying to. And the e-form systems definitely helped out for sure. Right? Like instead of snail mailing everything in, waiting for someone to actually physically approve that you have everything in its place and then go through the background check. Whereas if you do e-forms, it's not going to let you submit it until you have everything there. Right. And it's instantly there. So they can just start performing the background check.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's mostly automated too.
Yeah,
so yeah,
exactly.
There's it is making it much quicker. So
much better.
That is good. And to debunk myths for anybody, I just remembered we have Twitter streaming right now. So to debunk any myths that, about silencers or suppressors or however you want to call them, because that was a big debate on YouTube on one of our videos. They don't make the gun any more lethal. Yeah. You're not going to go around like James Bond just because you have a silencer. They're not easy to get. You know what I mean? It's just for hearing protection. That's why you have them, right? Yep. And I think in Europe, I think there's a rule. Somebody has to fact check me on this, but I think there's a rule that says in Europe, if you're going to fire a rifle, it has to have a silencer.
Yeah, there's some countries that have to do that.
Yeah. Because of the hearing thing. And it has nothing to do with the lethality or anything weird. It's just literally to save people's hearing.
Yep.
So anyway, so back to this though, so you can take a 9mm pistol can and put it on something like the Sig MPX or the CZ Scorpion. It'll be okay.
Yep. It'll be fine. Yeah. There's some, like I said, some adapters and stuff that you get, but you can definitely do it.
Okay. So so then what else do I need to think about with getting one of those things?
Like I said, I think the Sig one's a great one, especially with a folding stock.
Yeah.
If you want it as compact as possible, definitely get a folding stock with it.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. I think that's the way to do it. I mean, just the fact that you don't have to have a rifle bag to bring it around, you know, I mean, that's just, I sound like these are like first world shooter problems, right? But just the fact that you can just bring it around,
it's very
without the big cumbersome.
And they're really cool. They're really fun to shoot them suppressed too, like a 9mm, because you can shoot 147s that are like subsonic.
Subs.
Even 124, some of them are like right on the line, and man, they're so quiet. Like it's crazy quiet, and so it's very fun to shoot them.
So there's the thing, though. Okay, so if the SIGs like to have gassy guns, you know, and I was gonna suppress it, would it be better to get a CZ because they'll eat 147s just the same like they'll eat the 115s?
So usually, like whenever you put a silencer, it increases back pressure.
I guess that's true.
So
yeah,
then it'll make the gun usually work a little bit better.
Okay.
For the piston.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I found. Like whenever we put a silencer on them, it actually works. So.
Okay, so even 115s work just fine.
Yeah, 115, 147s will work if you have a silencer. It's just like whenever you're not running and you run like a comp or something, then it might bleed off too much gas.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we run a lot of comps.
Yep, that's right. And what's cool about the Sig ones, like the handguard's kind of a little bit bigger, so you can get like those Lancer handguards, the carbon fiber ones, and they're a little bit longer. So I'd get it a little bit longer than the one you actually have, where the silencer goes inside of the handguard.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, so that you don't burn your hand on the silencer when you're grabbing it, because those guns are so sharp that like everything's compact, and like it's very easy to like put your hand over where the muzzle's at. Yeah. So having the silencer kind of makes it a little bit like almost perfect size.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Good to think about.
We have one at the shop. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
with a silencer.
Oh really?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Lancer handguard, so we can you can try it out.
Okay. See. Yeah. Very good. Well, I'll be there next week, if not before then. So that's pistols, and we've been going for 30 minutes. I was going to ask you about rifle caliber ones, but I think it's probably good enough for this show. The point is, if you're going to go look at rifle caliber ones, I think you go with the Rattler.
Yeah, the Rattler is like really cool because it's piston driven and it folds, like the stock folds on it.
Yeah,
so
100%.
It's awesome.
They're just hard to get.
Yep. And also, if you get with 300 blackout, the burn rate is a lot shorter. So like 300 blackout burns all the powder within like 9 or 10 inches of barrel length.
Yeah.
So you can really shorten those guns down. Like I have a Rattler that's I think 4-inch barrel or 5-inch barrel, something like that.
Yeah.
And it works super reliable, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like a 5.56, if you get a 4 or 5-inch barrel, there's no way that thing's gonna be reliable.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
like,
I mean, it doesn't even have time to stabilize the bullet.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing's gonna splatter paint all over the target.
Because like ideally, like that round was developed for a 20-inch barrel,
right?
Like Vietnam era 20-inch AR-15s. 18 is like optimal, like if for length and burn rate.
Yeah.
So whenever you start shortening anything under like 11.5, you start giving issues. Some of the 10.3s you can get away with. I have a bunch of those. But the gas port has to be opened up a little bit more.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you're running the right buffers and things like that. It just gets a little bit more finicky. But anything under 11.5 gets squirrely with 5.56. Whereas 300 blackout, the standard is usually like 9.
Yeah. So cool. Well, very good. Well, thank you. Now I still don't know what I'm going to get, but I feel better about the purchase, I guess.
Yep,
so I guess next episode I'll probably have to talk about what I bought.
what you got?
What I bought. So very good. Okay. Anything else you want to mention about AR style pistols before we go?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. As always, please subscribe. You'll find us everywhere. Like we said many times now, we're moving to try to be a Twitter first, Spotify first type platform, but we are still uploading everywhere. Honestly, everything comes out at the same time at Spotify, YouTube. They come out at the exact same time. And Twitter, we get posted as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'll post it to Twitter. That's kind of how it all works. So, we have unfortunately still been dealing with Facebook and Instagram banning, suspending, and doing all of that stuff with our content, particularly because it's around guns. So, we are also going to try to push it out there as much as we can. But if we get banned, we won't have a way to tell you other than through the other platforms, right?
Yep.
So, But yeah, please like and subscribe. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.